Hi, everyone, and welcome to the One Podcast. I have a guest on today that I absolutely adore. She is magical. In fact, she just worked a little magic before we got started on my throat, like truly magic, which I would not have expected because she's also very logical. So she's an interesting mix of magic and brain and systems and organization, but she has a vision. She's able to see things in a way that I haven't seen with a lot of people. And we've had the chance to get to know each other for a while. So I'm excited to talk today with Valarie Sandjivy. Sandjivy. I've been practicing her name just because I love the accent to it. It's just so elegant. Valarie Sandjivy. And she is the CEO and owner of EllipsUs and elite leadership mentor for CEOs and visionaries. The consciousness behind powerful leaders. That is the perfect description of you because you have a vision and you work with structure and businesses and CEOs. There's such a perfect combination of the magical, mystical gifts that you have with vision and seeing and feeling and energy and channeling, plus how to see business structures and be able to fuse those in together. So tell us a little bit about your background, then talk about how you came into the evolution of what you're doing now and give some examples because it's actually really powerful. And I would love people to understand what it is you do, and then we'll talk about how they can find you if they want to work with you.
Yeah, I love this intro. Thank you, Lisa, for having me in your podcast, first of all. And thank you for this beautiful introduction.
Happy to.
So, yes, I have this journey in life. I'm an engineer, mechanical engineer. And like I used to say, it's not a desire. It was not a desire to be a mechanical engineer. I didn't want to be an engineer. But I'm going to explain why all of the things happened.
Mhm.
I have a master's degree from an international business school. I have that. So I have as well both of the things, the very technical and the business type. And I've been in different corporate settings up to C-level for 20 years.
Wow.
And I did, among those 20 years, I did 17 years of leadership and management.
Yeah. So you know leadership. Yes.
I know leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've been the head of the business unit in Detroit, Michigan. So that's when I spent 7 years in the US. So, when you work in automotive, Detroit is a must.
I love it. Keep going.
I've been a VP of sales. I've been managing 100 millions of dollars, euros actually, but it's the same as dollars, basically. I always work internationally. So I work in Detroit, but even when I was working in Europe, I used to work with Japan, with Brazil, always in very international career.
Mm-hmm.
And the common thread I want to say about my path is that I was always the one opening doors, opening doors like building this business unit in Detroit, working with stepping foot in Japan. The company I was in had some divisions in Japan, but not with the product I was in. So we need to get clients from the Japanese market. And then it was about opening this new structure in healthcare. When I switched from automotive to healthcare, it was opening a new plant where we were doing chemotherapy, product
Yes.
out of the hospitals. So this was
Okay.
brand new, back then. So I was always the one doing something new, innovation,
Mm.
pivoting, it was not something that was difficult for me. And always the one, okay, go to Detroit, come back, go to Japan, come back, go to Brazil, come back.
Here,
And
there, here. Yeah.
exactly. And I did it all the time. And in insight, the way I describe myself is like I took the path of least resistance. And let me explain what I want to say about that, because that's going
Yes.
to explain a lot about my life afterwards. So like I said, I didn't really want to be an engineer. I didn't want to do a master degree in business schools. I didn't plan to go to Detroit. I didn't plan to work with Japan. But all this was shown to me, was
Mhm.
presented to me.
Oh, okay.
And I say, oh, no, I have to make the choice of doing it or not doing it. But that's a
Present,
choice.
presented to you by your intuition
No, by
or
life,
like circumstances? Okay,
life
life circumstances.
circumstances,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Here's an opportunity, act upon it or not. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it was presented to me by my boss, by, someone, by someone calling me, okay, do you want to do that? And the thing is like, each time I made the choice to do it.
Mm.
And that's when we have this nice combination between life is showing you lemons. What do you do with the lemons? Or life is showing you a box of chocolate, like we say in Forrest Gump, and
Yes.
each time you don't know what you are going to get. But you decide, you do it or you don't. And that's how we come back in power of our own choices. So that's why I want to say that it's a nice combination between life is showing, do you take it or not? What do you do with it? And that's what I call the path of least resistance. Because if you follow that and you make the choice of taking what life is presenting, then it's going to show you the path to where you are getting, you are the journey. Not that we are getting anywhere, but what your soul is here to work on. What is your soul is here to serve? What is it here to bring to the world? So if you follow that, it's going to put you on the journey. It's going to put you on what I call the training room, because all this, it was to train you, to
Yes.
train me.
Yes.
Because now today, when someone is asking about sales, I'm able to answer. When someone is asking about dealing with the US, I have this client of mine. Her company has been, I mean, actually, it's not her company, but she's part of the company, has been bought by Americans.
Oh.
And she
Mm-hmm.
said, but how do we work with Americans? I'm here, I can tell you. I
I'm
know.
here to help you.
Yeah.
I do think we have to take a second and recognize how life is consistently delivering us opportunities. Some small and we let them slide right on by, and then some are the big ones. And as you said that, I recognized, yes, I look back and some of the greatest careers were opportunities delivered to me from another person. Hey, would you like to do this? Are you interested in this? And then it ends up being the path that I end up taking. Like you were saying, we are receiving them. Those, the best ones for me, and this may not be true for everyone, but I would believe the majority of the greatest opportunities are not something that we were out digging around, trying really hard to create. There is always the combination of the doing and the action, but recognizing that life just delivers the opportunities. And then what I also liked that you said is really the ownership of we decide, and we decide every day. We decide
Yes.
what we're doing every day, all day long. But some of the choices that we have and some of the experiences that we look back on that might be negative or that we're not proud of or that went wrong or that we're angry about or that we're holding resentment or sadness, we actually decided to participate in that opportunity. So all things
All of
we
it.
decide. We decide. We decide. And if there is an example that's coming to someone's mind of a circumstance that was forced on you, you did decide how long to participate in that. You decided the thoughts you would have about it, the beliefs that you would make about it, and then what you've carried forward. You're deciding to continue those beliefs and thoughts and behaviors. And I really want to emphasize that, how you said you decided to follow that path of least resistance. If you are being delivered so many opportunities, if you consistently feel into the path of least resistance, it's not going to be so challenging and hard. But we can make it challenging and hard by either resisting or missing that opportunity, choosing a different opportunity, or thinking it needs to be harder. Thank you for letting me throw all that in because I was so excited. Okay, so you have taken the path of least resistance.
Yes.
Okay,
And
keep going.
it doesn't mean that it's not always easy.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that we always make, I don't think we are making the bad choices,
Mm-mm.
but if we don't understand the wisdom out of the choices that we made,
Mm.
then we can't collapse the time. Sometimes we say that we made bad choices. And I think I want to find a new word for failures, because failure feels that this is negative. And actually, there is not such a thing as failures. There
Yeah.
is only things that we didn't understand at the moment that we are facing. And that's why sometimes we have to face it again. But if I understand, then I can collapse the time and move forward. And that's what it is. And I'm not saying that we deserve anything that we are going through. I'm not saying that we deserve all the hard stuff. What I'm saying is that there is things that we have to learn on the way, and it makes us stronger for what we have to bring to the world later on. But while we are going through it, because it was not an easy path. I'm saying I was in Detroit, I was in Japan. It was not always easy because you are traveling a lot, you are alone a lot, you are in a country that you don't know with nobody that you know, and you have to build a new community. You don't
Mhm.
speak the language at the beginning. So it's not easy, but it's like it's training you. And how do I train myself within this experience? And when I do that, then I can go faster because this is the path of least resistance. It doesn't mean it's I want to emphasize that it doesn't mean it's easy. Sometimes we are trying to stretch ourselves, it's like the rubber, like we have to stretch in order to be able to hold more. And that's what
I
it is,
agree.
about leadership, because it's all about leadership. What I'm teaching, I'm mentoring now. It's all about leadership. And leadership is like how to stretch and to be able to see a lot of different situations. So then I'm able to help more people because I faced that. I was there. I did it, went there. And I
Ah,
took the experience. Go
and
ahead. You want to say
oh my,
something?
no, I get so excited about everything that you're saying. I do, before we jump too far, because I really want to go back into leadership. I
Yes,
I agree with you 100% on failure. I would invite those that are listening to completely remove the word failure
I agree.
because in my opinion, and I don't remember where I heard this, but I liked it. Someone had said the only failures are when you choose to stop.
Yes.
So, for example, you have a business, quote unquote, that's failing. Had you chosen to give it 10 more years, you might have turned it around. No judgment in not. There are times that we should walk away, that something we created did not come to fruition in the way that we had hoped. But we judge that as a failure. My business failed. The relationship failed. I didn't do this properly. I failed at that. I failed at this. And if we didn't have that word, what else would you call it? And I
An
like the word,
experience.
yes. And I think of it as lessons. You
Lessons.
had this great experience and then you moved on to something different. And what you said about the training ground, people right now could be a listener right now that's in a job that they hate, that's in a relationship that they're not loving, they're living in a place that is not ideal. And yet, is it possible? Is it possible this is my training ground? Because there has definitely been times of my life in careers that I took and relationships I was in
Everybody.
and places that I lived that were my training ground. And the losses in my life, I had a large financial loss in 2022 that I was embarrassed about. It was so big and so shocking. It was one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me because of how it made me see things differently, how I could
Exactly.
handle it and navigate it. It made me such a better coach and mentor because up until that point, I had never lost money. It was a fantastic training ground for me. If you want to live an elevated life, whatever that looks like for you, which you probably wouldn't be listening to these podcasts if you didn't, if you want to expand your life and elevate your life, where has been the training grounds and are you in one right now? Even right now in this moment, I am in a training ground for the woman that I am becoming because what's waiting for me is bigger than this version of Lisa is capable of handling. I have to
Yeah.
grow into the bigger version. It's waiting. It's there. I'll have action steps I have to take, but this Lisa couldn't handle it. I'm not quite strong enough yet. And like you were saying, in some of the resistance that we face and the challenges we face is where we become expansive to
Exactly.
step into our leadership. Keep going. Oh,
Exactly.
I'm loving this.
And that's why I really feel that the journey is about this kind of, I might call it like the struggle or the fight between the mind who thinks is here to protect us, and it is there to protect us and
Mhm.
to prevent us to do something that we shouldn't be doing. and the soul who knows better and who wants to expand. And this is really the kind of like we have to manage, during the journey between the two, between the mind that we still have to listen, because our mind is not only the bad one who wants to not to do anything. He's here to protect us, and everybody needs protection at one point. And it is here as well to make, in action, because we are going to give practical tools afterward for our listener, to put in action whatever the soul is asking and is knowing and is trying to expand. So we have to find a nice harmony. This is everything that I want to bring to the world is really about this harmony, the harmony between the feminine and the masculine, the mind and the soul, the mistakes, we call it quote unquote mistakes, and the success. Everything is about, how can I find harmony within that? That's really, I used to say balance before, but now I switch it and I said, no, I don't want to say balance, because balance, we see the scale, and it has to be like 50-50. No, it doesn't work like this. The harmony is still moving. Balance, sometimes we feel that it has to be still. It can't, still is like stillness is the end. Sorry. It's the end.
Stillness, you're dead. We don't want stillness. When you said harmony, I was picturing the harmony of music. I was picturing how the different tones of different instruments play with each other, the different tones of different singers. There will be stronger voices at one point of your mind and stronger voices at one point of your soul. And I was thinking, before you said harmony, I was thinking of dialogue, the dialogue, not the struggle, the dialogue, not the battle between the two. They're having a conversation. You're involved in it, and one gets louder at one point than the other one, and we choose who we're listening to. But I do love if we can look at it more as there's a harmony. There's going to be times where I listen more to my mind, and then there's going to be times where I listen more to my soul, and that we need both. It would be a very flat tone if you only were in C minor. I can't believe I remember that. I'm like, I don't have anything to do with music. I think that's from piano days. My dad would
And
be
I
so
like
proud.
it. And it's very interesting that you pick up that, because I always give, the example of the orchestra to my clients. And we are all here to play one instrument. So you read my mind. And I always say that, and we are all here. And that's why I say, don't copy, because the other one is playing the flute. You are here to play the guitar. So
Ah,
drop the flute. Right now, drop the flute. You are not here to play the flute. Because if everybody is playing their own instrument, which is the soul, our soul playing our own music, then the universe is in harmony as well. So you can see that at a bigger level as well. So it's about to find what is your own instrument, what is your soul, and our soul is being telling that from the beginning, and that's why it's putting us on the path. And sometimes we resist, and it's okay to resist, it's okay. And then we come back and we play again. It's every journey are okay, it's just to understand that there is a wisdom, and if I want to listen and take the wisdom, then I will be on the path of least resistance. And sometimes I want to make a pause and stay a little bit longer here, because I like the note and I want to rest, because my nervous system, is getting kind of nervous, So it's like I want to take a pause, and it's okay. It's okay. And then I move back.
yes.
So yeah, that's really what it is.
That is, I I love the visual, the idea. I'm seeing that in my mind of the world being an orchestra. And we each have our own specific instrument. And yeah, there can be more than one bass player, because we need to play a certain tone at one time, and we need someone else to play a certain tone, and we need someone to play at the beginning and someone to play at the end. And we have a number of different songs being created and pieces being created at once. And then how funny that your soul, I want to play the flute. I've spent half my life wanting to play the flute, and your soul's like, you are playing the trombone. I don't know how long I've been trying to tell you, you are meant for the trombone. Why, if you would pick up a trombone, then your whole world would change, be open. I don't know how many times I have to keep telling you, but then because we resist, like, who wants to be the trombone? No offense to trombone players, but
No, of course.
that is a fantastic, beautiful example. I'm going to think of that now, a new visual on what is my part in the orchestra today. And Are there days that I show up and I have more of a solo, or are there days that I show up and I may not even play one note in the orchestra today, but I'm still a part of it? And that we can change different orchestras and be in different groups. And sometimes, like you were saying, sometimes we don't want to play. We need the downtime on occasion to be able to reconnect with what comes next. If you're trying to
Exactly.
grow in self leadership, a lot of that is what comes next. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. Being able to look back at your life a little differently and recognize I may not have done everything beautifully up to this point. I may have some regrets. I may have some judgments on how I behaved. Those weren't my highest moments. However, I did lead myself through it. And when I couldn't do it myself, I reached out and I got support and I found someone to help me. But I have led myself up to this point. And if I would like
Exactly.
to rise, I can be better in my self leadership and then I can lead others. I could be what is the that runs the orchestra.
The conductor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I could one day be a conductor of the now I'm
And
just
it's
going to move up to the first chair.
and it's interesting because you are making a nice shift to the four pillars of leadership that I'm bringing.
Tell
And the
us about
first
them.
the first pillar is about how to do we lead ourselves. You know, because we always want to go to the second pillar, which is how to lead others. But I always say, no, first of all, we lead ourselves. And it's interesting because you were saying that, and it's about the four pillars, and that it is all about my work. So you were making a nice transition for me. Thank you, Lisa. It was not even planned. So
So
it's great that when it's
this
happening like this.
flows.
Yeah. So the first pillar is do I lead myself? How do I lead myself when I struggle? How do I lead myself when I want to go faster? How do I stretch myself? How am I being authentic? How am I being present? How I am a good communicator? How am I a good, or I set example, how I do foster growth, you know, for the team members, you know, to grow. How do I have the vision, the roadmap? How do I refine myself? How do I contemplate on myself, on what I'm doing and about my actions? All this is about how do I lead myself. And then because I'm doing all that, I can go to the second pillar, which is now I can start to lead others. And
Yes.
to lead others, it can be the team members. If I am a leader within a company or a team member, a CEO, or whatever, I have a team. So then I can lead the others. And not so much leading, but because I'm doing everything part of the first pillar that everybody wants to follow and are inspired by you. So really, you don't have to pull them because they are going to come anyway, because everything that you are doing on the first pillar, they want that. And then you can lead other, which are, as I said, the team members, but it can be as well other leaders.
Mm.
And we work together. We walk together on the path of life. So this is really for me something which is has changed the way I coach now. I've been, you know, this leader in my career when I was 20 years. And as I said, I did 17 years of leadership and management. And for me, it was always about the team. But how do I do it for myself first? Then I can help the team.
Ah,
Yeah, and then it brings to the two other pillars, and I'm sure that you are going to add stuff on that, and I want to listen as well what you want to add. The third pillar is going to help the two others. The third pillar is about e-mastery, like the letter E. Why is it E? E is emotional mastery. It's not emotional resilience. It's not emotional intelligence. It's mastery. And I'm going to explain what it means because that's going to be a good point for the listener to take on. But it's not only emotional mastery, it's as well envision mastery. It's about excellence mastery. You know, it's all of that. It's all the E words around leadership. And for me, experience mastery is all of them. But if we want to focus on one, because we won't have time to go through all of them, but if we want to focus on one, it's going to be on E mastery. E mastery is like, how do I move from emotional intelligence to emotional mastery? And what's the difference? Emotional intelligence is, we all know that when emotions are high, intelligence is low. Okay, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. We all been there. We all know.
whoopsies. I wasn't myself.
wasn't myself. I said that I was tired, I was frustrated, okay, we all did that. And for me, so there is the people who are doing that. We did that, I did that. And there are the one who, when they face an emotion, they put a cap on it and say, no, I don't feel anything. I'm denying that I'm feeling anything. No, I'm fine, I'm good, everything is good. Some people, can't even feel their emotion. I'm not judging. I've been there as well. So everything that I'm saying around emotion is because I've been through all of it. And then sometimes you put a cap. No, I shouldn't feel angry. I shouldn't feel frustrated. I shouldn't be sad. I shouldn't. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So all of this is not okay for the emotional mastery because emotions are still there. So for me to master emotions is okay. I am in a conversation with the team members, for example. I am the leader. And then I'm triggered by something that the team has done, has not done, or something happened, and they didn't take care of it the way I wanted, or I'm frustrated. So there is many options. I can yell at the team and tomorrow come back, say I'm sorry. That's option number one, and be able to say sorry. But I said to myself, how can I put myself in a position where I don't have to say sorry?
Right.
But if I have to, I'm going to say it. So this is the first option. I'm going to yell at the team. Second option, I'm going to say, okay, I'm not feeling anything, I'm okay, I'm fine, and I'm going to, to keep having the conversation, I'm good. And 10 years later, burn out, and then you are facing something because all the emotions have been bottled up, and then at one point, they just want to explode. Not in the right timing, usually. That's the second option. We don't want that,
No,
believe me.
no.
Nobody wants that. And there is a third option. And the third option is something that it takes, refinement and refinement and refinement. So I'm having this conversation with the team. Again, I'm still in the same example, and I'm triggered. I need to be aware that I'm triggered. I need to be able to put on the side, not a cap on it, just on the side, the emotion and saying, okay, I'm going to deal with it later on. So I'm not engaging with the emotion right now. I'm still having the conversation with you because usually when I'm triggered by someone, it's not someone doing something to me. This person is just saying something that I am triggered.
Yes.
So I'm putting these emotions on the side for this emotion. Let's say that there is one, this emotion on the side for a moment. I'm finishing the conversation. And then later on, I'm going to go back and process this emotion, not putting a cap on it saying I'm fine, I'm strong, and I can, do it and can bring it on. No, I'm going to process this emotion and see what the trigger was about and refine and work on myself and do what I need to do. Process the emotion, empty the tank of the emotion because usually it goes fast to empty the tank.
Yes.
But then what is the little story? The mind telling you, okay, you didn't do good, you didn't, all the stories that the nice mind is telling us. Process that.
Yes.
Either you can do it for yourself as a mentor. Now I can do it by myself. At the beginning, I needed help. You can help from your mentor, from your coach, from your therapist, from whoever, your partner, sometimes I can help you. Anybody can help you. And then you process that. Meaning next time that I'm having a meeting with the team, I don't have this
Mhm.
emotion lingering there. It's
Yes.
not there anymore. I'm going on a clean state. And that's what it is, emotional mastery.
Oh, I was like, you will withhold all excitement because you don't want to interrupt this beautiful chunk of great information. Rewind, listen to that again, write it down because there's a different depth to emotional intelligence than I've heard before. And there's a new clarity. We've all heard about emotional intelligence, deal with your emotions. You can't bury your emotions, but I was walking that path with you as you're saying it, and I'm envisioning in my mind, even outside of a career. So you are the leader of your family, you're the leader in
Mhm.
your friendships, and maybe in sports. We all are self led. So even
Mhm.
if you're not defined as the leader, your behaviors lead in some way or another. So we take ownership to that. And then what I liked that you had said, so we're going to walk back through what you were saying. So you're having a conversation, you're leading the group, you're leading your 7 children, you're out with all your best friends, whatever, and somebody triggers you. Naturally, we want to react. We don't react. We
No.
recognize, okay, I am feeling this. We don't stuff it. we literally set it aside. I have a little suitcase. I have a little slot in my brain outside of my heart that I'm going to set this into for now. I'm going to carry it with me home, but I am not going to let this be running around rampant in my body, just freaking out while I am in this situation. There's something going on. I am not going to react. I'm going to choose to respond.
Respond.
And and you can even say, I feel something coming up here and I don't want to react or respond. So give me a minute or I'm going to work on that later, but this is causing me to react. Whatever. You don't have to say it, but if there's a
You
circumstance
can.
to say it, wonderful. Then you go home. And when you were saying that you now need to engage with that emotion, I was thinking, what if I brought it home and I open up the suitcase and I ask it, what are you trying to teach me? Instead of let me jump back into feeling this emotion and then have all the conversations I wish I would have had that I wanted to say to those people when they made me so mad, which I have done a million times. Oh, it would have been so much better if I would have said this, or that would have been the perfect response. Why didn't I think of that? But if I just were to open that visual suitcase of mine and say, I recognize that you were showing up for me. What is it you're trying to teach me? What is it
Teach.
that you want me to understand? And then if you need to feel that emotion that makes you sad, that makes you disappointed, it feels like it's a strike against your self-confidence. It feels like you weren't respected. Looking at those and then, okay, that's my emotion that I've created from this. And then going into, all right, now I know how I would deal with this better the next time. And if there's a conversation that needs to be had, I can have this conversation from a less emotional place. I really,
Definitely.
I liked the make sure that you engage with the emotion. You need to engage with it, or as we all know, and if you don't know, you stuff the emotions and you're going to end up with some sort of disease down the road. Your body's going to shut down. It cannot hold the emotions. And it's not meant to. Emotions are meant to teach us something. They're showing up for a reason. Most emotions are there to say, hey, I've got something to say. I am reacting. And then once you've had the conversation with the emotion, recognized it, thought about what you could do differently, then we went into what are the beliefs I created around this. And a lot of times it is hard to reprogram those beliefs, hard to recognize, oh, I'm still carrying that from the seventh grade. Like that's affecting me right now. So, yes, then definitely try and get some support on that. I love these four pillars. So, first, you're going to lead yourself, then, you're going to lead others. And as you lead others, you can expand that leadership of others. And then emotional mastery, which means the mastery of excellence, experience, envisioning. Oh,
And it's only three. We haven't gone to the fourth
oh,
one.
I was wondering because I'd written down three and I'm like, maybe I missed one. I'm not going
No,
to
no,
make
no.
an ass out of
There is
myself
one
right
more.
here.
One thing I want to say on emotions, I'm able to speak about emotions this way today, but please, listener, it's not something, I came up with. I've been on a process for 40 years dealing with my emotions because when I was younger, I didn't know that I could feel all of the emotions of everybody, but I didn't know that. I thought they were all mine, and I didn't know why I was so emotional. So I put a cap at the beginning. I can't feel that because otherwise I'm going to kill myself. There were so many emotions. So I went there, I put the cap on it. I said, don't feel anything. So I went through all the process that I'm teaching, I'm offering, and I'm saying today. It's not something I read and I say, okay, this is the way to do it. I've been to the process. And I can tell you, like nowadays, I can watch a movie and I can feel all of the emotion before even the movie is starting.
Wow.
All of these emotions are going, and I didn't know that at the beginning. I said, what's wrong with me? What is going on? And then, little by little, it took me years to understand that I was feeling the emotions of the movie even before they were happening, but they were going to be in it at one point.
That's
And
fascinating.
yes.
Really quick, I had a question come up, and I think this would be a great way to ask it since you are so aware of that. For listeners or viewers, I think the question that would pop in around here is, okay, so if I'm learning emotional mastery for me, I'm learning to not react. Instead, I'm going to take this home, actually take some time to have the conversation with my emotions, look at that. Where is that fine line and how do I deal with other people's emotions? So say we're in that team setting, I'm the leader, someone loses their uh, composure
Okay.
is a better word than what I was going to use. Someone loses their composure with me. I do swear on the podcast on occasion, but okay. So someone loses their composure. And I'm sure we deal with this in relationships. Someone, your partner gets really angry, your child is absolutely out of control. Children, we do need to give some grace and understanding, but how do we navigate other people's emotions in our self mastery?
It's a great question.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
took me a while to get there. But now I faced that a couple of times, and I'm going to tell you a story about that.
yes.
Beginning of the year in January, I went to see someone,
No,
so
don't.
someone with an authority. There was someone who was an authority.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having an appointment with this person. So I'm arriving, and this person starting, when I step into the office, starting to yell at me. For
Wow.
no, yes, exactly. It's not the first time I was meeting this person.
Okay.
And this person was starting to yell at me. And I was, okay, I said, okay, what's going on here? I didn't do anything because I'm just stepping in. And then I said, okay, I'm going to put myself in the meta position. So what it means, like I said, okay, I'm not going to engage with whatever this person was, they were like judging me with it because it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of a judgment. And I went there and I said, okay, are you mad only at me for something you think I did, or you are mad at everybody? But not everybody was there. There was only me in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And this person answered, no, I'm mad at everybody, including you. Okay, okay, good. Okay. So I said, so are you mad? And I'm taking for everybody. Am I taking one for the team? Or did you do that for to everybody? No, I did that with everybody. Say, okay, 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 good. So I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was saying stuff. This person was saying stuff. And I said, but is it better that I did it the way you are telling me, or is it better that I did that because I feel better by doing that within my body? And this person wouldn't answer. So I said, okay. And then little by little, I was bringing this person back to neutral because I
Mm-hmm.
was not engaging with the emotion that she was throwing at me. And I was very proud of myself because I was really on this meta position, looking at what was happening, not engaging into that, being able to, because I was calm and not engaging. And I said, okay, you are mad at me, you are mad at me. It doesn't mean I have to be mad at you back. And it doesn't mean I have to be mad at you in return. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that. Do I like to be treated like this? No, I don't like it. But if I put oil on the fire, it's going to explode at one point. So by extracting myself, from that, but still engaging with the intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
then the person went calm, neutral. So we
Yes.
did whatever we were supposed to do, the appointment. And then, at the end of the appointment, okay, thank you very much. And then, okay, it was nice seeing you. She said that. It was nice seeing you and see you next time. Like nothing happened. And you know why? It's because I didn't engage into that. Why? It's because even if she was mad at me, I didn't feel it was right, but I didn't want to start to throw balls because then it would have been the end of the conversation and it was not something I wanted. But I didn't felt disrespectful. I didn't feel not respected. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that she was taking anything away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like I was angry. It was her opinion, and I didn't engage into that.
Yes.
So basically, long story short, is to say when we feel emotions from everybody else, it can be that because I feel it, I can dissociate myself because I know it doesn't belong to me. That's why you have to go to the mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Is it me or is it not me? And then at the beginning, you don't know. Believe me, at the beginning, when I was 10, I didn't know. It was all me. And then you start to differentiate. But I don't feel angry right now. Why suddenly I feel angry? Okay, everybody in the room is angry. Okay. Am I feeling angry right now? Not really. Okay, so it doesn't belong to me. Okay. But then do I start to feel like everybody else? Like sometimes we want to feel, part of the team. But no, I don't. But usually, that's the other point, and I think it's going to be useful for the listeners. If I start to feel the same way, it means there is still something lingering within me. So it's back to the story that I was saying before. Go back when you are in your nice little room in your house or wherever, process that because it means that it was resonating with you.
Okay, two things I do want to touch on.
Mhm.
I feel like in my life, when I have a lot of emotions going on or a lot of thoughts, or when there's a discussion I want to have, sometimes I look at it like I have this backpack that I'm wearing around. And so I'm carrying that with me. And these are these things. And then if it's eating at me long enough, then I want to say something about it. But in my emotional intelligence, now that I've grown up, I would look at myself and think, well, there's not all this emotion tied to it. So I'm not coming at them with all this energy, but I started thinking at the important conversations I think I want to have. And am I just taking the backpack off to put it on them? Because if I have that conversation and I open that door, I'm not setting the backpack down. I'm not unloading my backpack. I'm actually taking it off and asking them to carry it because when the
Okay.
words come out of my mouth, I'm putting it on them. And is that really fair? Like, if
No.
it's heavy for me, it's only going to feel good for me to take the backpack off. And then there's
Yeah.
something immature in me that is like, well, it's their backpack to carry, right? So I do think
It's their fault.
I would drop the principle or thought for people to contemplate for any listeners or viewers before you do have a conversation. Is it the backpack that you're wearing? And can you just take the stones and the heaviness or whatever's in it out yourself and take the backpack off? Or do you really recognize that if you have this conversation, no matter how intelligent you think it is, you're actually putting that backpack on them? And I know sometimes when we're angry, we're like, hell yes. And I want to load it up before I give it to them. Yes, right? Like, let's put 50 more pounds in there. Could I get a bigger backpack?
All did it.
Right. But then the important part that I do want to touch on that I think is a fine line and a little bit confusing for people is, all right, so let's say I am a man and my wife comes home and she has had a brutal day. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of emotions coming at. I know, and I'm only saying this, and yeah, it sounds judgmental and stereotypical, but men deal with emotions differently than women, and we speak a
Okay.
lot more words than men do. So we come in all fire and ice, 7,000 words a minute, and a lot of emotions. There is that default to, okay, I have two choices here. I either engage and listen, which is what I know she wants me to do, or I don't want to engage, which is then going to feel like disrespect and annoy her and make her mad because I don't want to engage in that. So I know you're going to say something about remaining neutral. I think it is important for others to be heard. And then what you were just giving the example of, let's say we're in the team and you're recognizing that everyone is whatever circumstance you're in, three kids, your partner, your buddies, there's a level of anger rising. Am I choosing to participate in this? So, how do we remain in the circumstance and honor the person feeling all the emotions when they don't have quite the emotional intelligence to deal with it without the engagement? What is that fine line? I can't find the right word that I'm looking for, but between how do we disengage and engage at the same time?
I
You know
know
what I'm saying.
exactly what I
Perfect.
know
Yeah.
exactly what you are saying.
Super helpful.
I don't think for me I would use the word neutral.
Okay.
When someone is coming home, the way I do it now is if I feel like it, I need a buffer.
Okay.
This
Fine.
person didn't have the
Oh.
buffer in the
Mm.
example that you are giving. So, and it happens. Sometimes we don't have the buffer. But for me, the way I do it is like, don't talk to me. I'm not going to talk to anybody right now because I have this, I know that I'm carrying this emotion. It has nothing to do with you. So I'm not going to unload it on you. I'm going to be in my room for 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, or go in the shower because I know that I can process it and come back. But that's me having the emotions.
Mm.
If, because it was not the example you were asking, it was like the wife coming back home and the man was there. Usually, neutral is not what it is to hold space. That's what it is. To hold space for this person to unpack and unload all of it. So, engaging in being there, listening, but not engaging in putting oil on the fire. And
Yes.
that's the main difference. Meaning, okay, so this person is going to say, yes, and my boss did that, and the team didn't do that, and again, it's again, tomorrow we are going to work 10 hours more, and so I'm here, I'm listening, I'm looking at you in the eyes, so I'm present because you need a space to unpack your shit, sorry for the
Yes.
word.
No, you can say it. I love it. There's a lot of shit. Yes. Keep going.
So you need a space for that, but that's what we need, human. We are human. We need a space to unlock, to unpack. So being there is I'm there, I'm listening, but I'm not engaging in saying, okay, because you work too much, and then the kids didn't have dinner, and you were supposed to have to prepare dinner tonight. I'm going to put oil on the fire if I do that, but it might be true that it was my night of preparing dinner. Might be true that I missed the soccer game of one of the kids. All this might be true, but it's not the time to bring it on the table.
Yes.
So it's really engaging is to really hold the space for the other one to unload their emotions. And then they are going to go back to neutral. You are going to say, okay, go take a shower, go rest in the room. I'm going to take care of the kids, whatever the dogs or whatever, and then we'll talk later. And usually, because we did that, the other person is going to come back, to neutral by themselves. But if I start to say anything, even if it's like, but couldn't you say to your boss or couldn't you say to the team, no, don't say that. Don't say anything. Because if you say that, this person doesn't want to listen to that.
Hmm.
So don't say that, but be there and listen. That's what I mean, holding space for the other one to unload
Ah,
their
and I love
emotions.
that you said holding space because when that term first started being used, I, I, I literally was like, what exactly do you mean by that? But I had a visual while you were saying it this time in a way that I had never visualized it before. And it went back to my backpack idea in my head. So she comes in the door and she has a lot to say. And instead, I was envisioning, okay, you're standing there. She has a lot to say, but she is actually standing at a table, taking the backpack off of her back, opening it up, unzipping it. And as she is saying all of those things, she's removing one heavy block, one rock, one other thing weighing her down. She's just talking to you about it while she's unloading her own backpack without asking you to carry it. She's not putting it on you. She's got this big old table in front of her that's like, hey, I got this going on. I'm taking this rock out of my backpack and I have this one. Even just you being there allows her to remove the backpack off. Same thing with your kids, same thing with any partner, same thing with a friend. When they start, they're trying to get that heavy backpack off. It's coming off, and then they're setting it down, whether it's on a table or on the floor in front of you visually. You're making this up in your head. Envision, this was the word I was looking for. So they're setting that backpack down, they're unzipping it and slowly taking those things out. And none of this is asking you to do anything but be there to listen while she unpacks the backpack. And if you give them enough time, and if you recognize even when they're saying things that may be coming at you, this is just one more heavy stone in her backpack. She's been carrying this all day. She's going to feel so much better when she says all this stuff. I know this isn't truth and I see it differently, but it doesn't matter. Let her get that entire backpack empty because then she's going to be a whole different person. And I
Exactly.
thought I loved that. And then the other thing that I do want to share that popped in my head was right when you started that portion with the buffer. And I can't take credit for this, and I don't know who it was, but there was a guy who had said, when I come home from work every day, before I go in that front door, there was a tree out in front of his house. And he would get out of the car and stop and touch the tree. That was it. But in his mind, it was, I'm not taking the energy of the day and everything that I've been dealing with all day long into my front door. So I will take a second in my, and we need this. Men need buffer time, just so you know. Men that are out working and then they come home and they come straight in the door, and we would like to unload all the children and all the responsibilities on them because they've been driving us crazy all day. They need a few minute buffer. Women need it too, but when men are transitioning from one environment into another environment, there has to actually be time to change our mind, just like women do in feminine energy, whole different podcast. The point is, I'm going to take at least 15, 30 seconds before I go into my place of peace. Our homes are supposed to be our place of peace. Or I'm not going into my particular office with this energy of the day. Where can I have that buffer? And I'm in charge of my buffer. It would be
Exactly.
great. It would be wonderful if, now that listeners have heard this conversation, I'm going to make sure that I create a space for my partner and for my children and for myself. I'm going to offer the space for a buffer, but it is our decision to think, okay, where could I? I'm sure a lot of people are listening to this on their drive home or they're watching it. Where could I create a buffer so that my emotions don't come in the door with me, so that I can leave the stress of the day to be with my family? And same thing, when if the morning has been chaos and I have to go to work, how do I not take the chaotic energy into my workplace when I have presentations and relationships? So those were really important points that I wanted to reiterate.
And when you're in your car and you park your car in the front of the house, it can be in your car. Take a
Mhm.
few breaths in, a few breaths out, like it takes 15 seconds, maybe a minute, and then you go. Only by doing that, already you start to discharge
Yes.
everything. So and that's why for me, it's mastery, because when you know that we need that, when we know that we need that, then we find a space, the tree, the car, whatever. We take the time to breathe in and breathe out, because that's what we need at this time, at this
Mm.
minute, is to breathe in, breathe out, and then we walk in. And that's what it is, mastery, is to know we need all that. And we are all humans. We all need that.
I mean,
Yes, you
can you
can.
go the next step to have the buffer and then set the stage or reinforce the energy that you want to carry into the house? If I turn on a good song, I am in the best mood no matter where. So,
Yes.
first step, I think, would be decompressing, giving yourself the buffer. And then, if you even want to be more intentional, what is the mood I want to have going in here? Like, my kids are going to be so happy to see me, and I'm never going to know my kids at this age again. It's a lot. Like, my brother has three boys under 2.5, going, yeah,
Wow.
three twins and the 2.5-year-old.
Oh my
He
gosh,
comes
that's
home
God.
for work, and the minute he comes in the door, there's three babies, little boys all over him. And I can imagine after a long day that is intense. And yet he recognizes, he's so aware, I'm never getting these days back. I'm never going to get to toss them every time, like 2 months, and they've completely changed. They don't want me to toss them anymore, and they're heavier, and now they're starting to walk, and they're never going to be this excited to see me again, and they're not going to waddle the same way. Everything is about the presence of where we're at, our own emotions, we're feeling our intelligence. This is one I'm enjoying every minute of this. Okay,
Great.
so these four pillars that you work with.
No, we haven't done the
Oh,
fourth yet.
yes, go to the fourth. Go to the fourth.
Let's
I knew it was
let's do
coming.
it quickly. Let's do it quickly. The first one is about soul care. And soul care is about how can I find, because we spoke about that earlier, that's why we can go faster, is to find a nice harmony between my work, my business, my life, me as a woman, me as a partner, me as a mom. How can I find a nice balance, a nice harmony between all of them, and still being able to build this business, because I'm speaking to CEOs, leaders, and visionary, and still, being able to have a personal life. It's not because I'm leading a team, maybe 5 days or 6 days, a week, that I can have, a moment to enjoy life. I'm always saying, leaders, we are here to bring a better world. So we might as well enjoy it on the way. And enjoy it is like, how can I take soul care? It can be a massage, it can be family time, it can be vacation, it can be a weekend, a nice meal at the restaurant, anything that is going to bring joy and still live in this world that we are building, for a reason. That's what it is, soul care really is, like to find this nice harmony. I said it's going to be harmony. No, it's not balance anymore. There's nice harmony, with everything that we are doing. And we are doing a lot. We are doing a lot.
And if we focus on harmony instead of balance, it's okay that if it feels out of balance right now, then there's no judgment
Exactly.
because I'm learning the harmony. And that is a very important principle and reminder that we don't put the emphasis and the priority on where do I find joy? How important and how often I need to create opportunities for me to connect with joy. And that can be as simple as, ooh, I really want a good breakfast this morning. I'm going to
Exactly.
enjoy walking the dog. I'm going to enjoy sitting on the back patio and having a glass of wine. I'm going to enjoy a massage. And then I was also thinking how you were saying the soul care. Oh, yes. And the word popped in my mind that I like to share with my clients. We have the jobs, we have the family, we have the friends, we have the responsibilities, the church, the sports, the whatever. All of these things that we need to find the harmony in. And one thing that I think has really helped me and my clients is the word get. I get to instead of I have to. I have to go to work. I have to be home at this time. I have to take care of this responsibility. I have to do this spreadsheet. I am in charge of this responsibility and I have to have this by this deadline. If we remove have, and
True that.
every time you would have said have, you say get, there is a difference there. And sometimes we don't like it. I get to go to work. Yeah. If you didn't have that job, you wouldn't have money on the table, money to put food on the table. If you didn't have that job, you wouldn't have met these great coworkers that you're with. If I didn't have that job, I wouldn't be getting the education that I'm getting that is teaching me self-mastery and is going to make me a better leader for the next opportunity. If I didn't have that job, I wouldn't have my retirement. There's so many things. I get to have this relationship. I get to show, yes, I'm responsible for this particular project. I get to, what's the word I'm looking for? I get to showcase, there's the word. I get to showcase my gifts and talents. I get to participate in something that the team is creating. I get to be helpful where the other people are struggling. I get to lift that responsibility and take it on because I'm good at this and I know how to handle it. If that is the smallest shift you make, it makes you
That's a
appreciate the
powerful
things that
one.
we have more. And then adding in, I get to take some time for myself. I
Yeah.
get to prioritize joy. And the more we do that, the more the other things I think come easier. Because when your soul and your body and you feel more love and feel more expansion and feel more at peace, then your intuition opens. You do follow the path of least resistance. You actually
Exactly.
recognize the things being delivered to you. And you're in tune with the what to do next. You're in tune with the this makes me feel good and I enjoy that. And I may not love every circumstance of my life right now, but I can look at it differently. I can focus on the things that I do love, and I could recognize that the other circumstances I'm in, these environments,
Are
might
good.
be helping me to master my leadership for what's next.
And all of that, like I said, the four pillars is the foundation of leadership for me. This is the
Yeah.
foundation, and it's the nice harmony again between the feminine and the masculine energy. So when you put in place the foundation, which are the four pillars we just spoke about, like right now, then something else can happen, which is intuition, creativity, creation, and we can play the game of creation, which is the game of life. Everything is set, masculine energy, the structure, and then we can have this flow and receiving and all of it. So that's what it is for me. And then you can lead your life and be happy and build the vision and be the mission and hold the vision and everything. And that's the way I'm coaching and mentoring my clients, building, that for something else to come and to
I love
land.
it. I love it. I feel like You are that person who's coaching each person on how to, each of your clients, to prepare for their solo in the orchestra. Like they know how to play their instrument, they know how to sing their songs, but they have a solo piece coming up. And then once they've mastered that solo piece, then they're going to go out and teach the people. And that's what life
Exactly.
is. Life is rising into our own leadership because no matter where you're at today, there is someone behind you, one,
Yes.
two, 5 steps behind, looking for someone to lead them through the hard challenges. And then there's people 1, 2, 5, 20 steps ahead of me that I can look at and recognize if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. And that is the most important shift. Instead of they have what I don't, and maybe I'm not capable of, everyone around you that's ahead of you, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. It may
Possible.
look differently, it may come to me differently, but it's possible. And one of the first steps to get there is recognizing, okay, I need to learn how to really master my leadership
Yeah.
in those 4 pillars and then grow from there.
Yeah, because when you have the 4 pillars, then you can lead your mission, which is your own instrument. Because we spoke about the flute and the trombone and the violin, but there is so many instruments. There is as many instruments than there is people actually.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and it might be very close because sometimes even a violin with another one is not exactly the same sound. A guitar with another guitar is not the same sound. So for me, it's like really, for me, it's like, how can I really lead your own mission, lead your own vision? And I'm here to help you, not help you that you don't know to lead you. I really feel that people know.
Mm.
They just need some time, little bit, the little push in order to say, okay, this is my instrument and I'm going to play it from now on. Okay, so it's really to show that you can lead your mission by yourself. You just need a little push. That's
Yes.
exactly what I'm doing, to help people doing that.
Well, and mentorship has so many great elements to it because you give the encouragement. You also can remove yourself and look at the situation above it. I like to call that the helicopter view because you're not in the confusion and you can see with clarity on things. And then you also are the person who has navigated some of the things that they're currently in, the circumstances, the confusion, the roadblocks, the mental discord or confusion on
Chaos.
what. Yes, yes, chaos, the mental chaos. When we are looking for mentorship, it isn't that something's lacking. It's just so
No.
nice. It's so nice to have those conversations. It's nice to have the reinforcement. And sometimes when there are more than one good option, it's really great to have someone to just go through that with, or to say, well, here's what I see that you might not be seeing. I'm a huge fan of coaching and mentoring. I would have never made it to this point in my life, never without having
Yes.
those ahead of me. And then I really enjoy helping those behind because I know what that feels like. And it's not that they're behind, it's just that I'm one step further in whatever it was. So why not turn around and offer a helping hand? And that I, in the theme of the orchestra, it is better when there's always times for solos, but it's so much better when we hear all the different tones of the music and the different voices and the harmony together. If we can look at it that way, we all are mastering our instruments or mastering our singing and our voice. And then how do we contribute that to the world, when and where? And then am I producing an album over there where I'm going to be on 3 tracks, or am I actually going to be in an orchestra over there and be on stage? Like, where is it that I'm going to play and nothing is wrong?
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing
And
is
or
wrong.
am I creating my own solo album? But if I am, do I need someone to play the guitar in the back, and who's going to create the tracks for me, and who's going to record it? So much collaboration, but definitely beginning with the self mastery and getting into
Yes.
this leadership,
Leadership.
understanding as I would like to end with that note.
Mhm.
I used to look at leadership as something that I had to be a master before I became a leader. And I really would love, like I'd mentioned earlier, for the listeners and the viewers to look at where you have already led yourself, where you have been a leader. You are currently a leader,
Yes.
in so many ways. And you
Yes.
can grow and expand that leadership. If it's a desire to have a much bigger role, then we want to find Valarie and have her support you in that because she knows what she's doing. So tell people where they can find you, all of
Yes.
your social media links and all that.
The best way to find me is on my website. And
Okay.
my website is www.ellipsus, which is ELLIPS.us.com.
Mm,
From there, you have access to all of my social media. You have
perfect.
my LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And on the website, you can have like free content, which is a free assessment on
Mm,
leadership. And
great.
when I say assessment, it's not that we are starting from zero. Everybody can take an assessment at any point
Mm,
just to reassess, because that's what I like to do, always reassess where I am, refine, refine, refine. That's how we become master. And there is free activation. The little thing that we did at the beginning, Lisa, this is an
mm-hmm.
activation.
Oh,
So they can find free activation, about safety, about a lot of stuff, and they can find all of my offers. There is one-on-one, there is, a full day with me, there is energy reading, there is a lot of stuff.
oh, I will make sure that we include those. And I hope for those of you that are listening on the podcast, I hope you go watch the YouTubes. It's funny because I've been listening to my own podcast and I enjoy the YouTube so much more because I am such a visual. I want to see your faces and I love the animations and everything that we talk about. So I'm a big fan of podcasting when you're driving and when you can't be watching the videos, but I hope you go back and watch the videos and we'll make sure that all the links are available. And then my favorite thing to ask all of my guests, thinking of who you are today and who you want to become in the future, or what you're thinking and envisioning for the future, how would you end the sentence, I am the one who?
I am the one who is the change that I want to see in the world,
Ah, I am the one who is the change I want to see in the world.
which I borrowed from Gandhi, I have to say.
Hey,
It's not,
it wouldn't be fun if he was the only one who ever got to say it. We should all be repeating it. If we didn't, it would
yes,
have died with him. No one would
yeah,
be saying it anymore. But
yeah,
that's true because you have embodied how to transform yourself into a more leadership role. And then now you are leading. You're leading leaders at every level. And
yeah.
that's one of the greatest callings because when we're self-led, then we are participating in the world and showing our gifts. And I like to, think of the puzzle pieces. We're all a puzzle piece and we all fit together. We're all needed. And I say that so many times. I know that there's been times in my life where I didn't think that I mattered, but we all do.
We all
And
do.
we all do. And I'm very grateful for this conversation. I adore you.
I'm
This was
grateful.
wonderful.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It was, we
Yes.
could have gone for hours.
I know, I know. I have more today. I'm like, oh, okay, we got to pay attention to time. So thank you all for listening, and we will see you again soon. Thanks, everyone.